So I have a question around this. I notice, so I read an article, Scientific American put out an article, I think it was either this morning or yesterday, and the title of it was Why Bronze Medalists Are Happier Than Gold Medalists.
Yeah, that's a great study. I love that study.
Okay, so very fascinating. So essentially it's saying something like along the lines of, the bronze medalist, it's essentially what you're comparing yourself to. I could have not gotten a medal, but I did, versus a silver medalist who's like, I could have got gold, but I only got silver. Yeah. What role does how we compare ourselves to others play in all of this? And I can't help but think of, in my space in fitness, the social media space, and how people are they can accomplish incredible accomplishments with their fitness and their physiques, but then they look at these pictures of other people and just these impossible comparisons, and they just end up feeling terrible.
Yeah, so that's an old study of the Olympic medalists, and it shows that, for example, the silver medalists die significantly earlier than both gold and bronze medalists. Wow. Gold and bronze medalists die about, on average, 4 years later than silver medalists do. And in the meantime, silver medalists are less happy. And the reason, exactly as you suggest, the silver medalists go through the rest of their life saying it could have been me. Whereas bronze medalists are comparing themselves to the rest of the world that didn't win any medals. That's actually how it works. Now, you can be the recipient of positive social comparison, but as a general rule, Teddy Roosevelt, President Theodore Roosevelt, was right when he said that social comparison is the thief of joy. If you want to ruin an experience, compare yourself to other people. It should be intrinsically satisfying if you're actually getting in shape and feeling good. But put yourself on Instagram, you can't win. You're going to lose because there's somebody else. I mean, this is, by the way, one of the reasons that the literature on social media is so alarming. I mean, we're finding out that increasingly social media is a public bad and brings people down in almost any dose. Any amount of time over half an hour a day you're spending on social media, you literally get lonelier and more depressed.
Wow.
And it has everything to do with the fact that you're crowding out in-person relationships. For happiness is love, full stop. I mean, remember, faith, family, and friends are all love categories. And if you do anything that's a substitute for love, you lose. Anything you should do technologically should be a complement to your relationships, never a substitute for your relationships. And it's even worse. It's metastatically dangerous if you're substituting for your human relationships and comparing yourself to everybody else's fake life. Instagram influencers, especially in the fitness space, they don't actually look like that. Are you kidding me? They look like that one day, and they're so completely desiccated and miserable and food obsessed, and yelling at everybody. And it's like, I finally got to my, I'm finally 4.5% body fat. Get the camera quick before I kill everybody. It's like, we all know what's going on, and a lot of what I know from this is because I'm a fan of yours. One of the most inflecting things that you taught me when you were on my podcast, but also just because on your show, when you talked about the cosmic beauty of the dad bod, and it was really helpful for me, I have to say, because, during coronavirus, there's everybody, it doesn't matter, if you study happiness or not, there's only 4 strategies for life in coronavirus, and during lockdowns, which is like drunk, chunk, hunk, or monk, right? And right. And so, I was like, I don't know, I'm going to get in the best shape of my life. And I was getting more and more and more and more miserable. And I heard you talking about, that don't do that. That's crazy. Don't become food obsessed. Don't be stupid. But a lot of people will become unhappy because they're trying to be perfect, and then put up this facade of perfection and happiness on social media. And in so doing, they're lying, and they're making everybody else miserable through social comparison. So the one way that we can completely defend ourselves is to get off all of those sites and ration all of our social media consumption to 30 minutes a day or less, with the rule that it's only to get information that we need and to communicate with people we love.
I think that's excellent advice. I have a way of explaining it. I would love your opinion because this is your expertise. But I think, it's natural for us to kind of rank ourselves socially to see where we are. I mean, it's part of our evolution. And when you're on social media, you just turn your tribe into this much bigger tribe. But the people that tend to pop up on social media are anomalies. They just, for example, I read the statistic that six-pack abs are more rare than millionaires. I mean, I managed gyms for decades. And so this is already a selection bias where you already have people who work out. and nobody in there was super ripped in the gyms. It was actually quite rare in the gyms that I managed to see that. But when you're on social media, it looks like it's everywhere. And so then naturally you're just like, wow, I'm not only am I not in the middle, I'm so far down at the bottom. I look terrible. Am I explaining kind of what's happening?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's exactly right. So you get people who are complete outliers, or actually who depict themselves as outliers, because this is what you want. It's like nobody puts on social media, my kid just flunked math, brutal. They're always like, little Johnny is super outstanding yet again today. Or like, my girlfriend screamed at me and told me I was a complete loser. I should get off the couch and go get a job. No, they're like, out hiking today, beautiful in Northern California. And so you want to look like an outlier on the positive side. You don't want to look like you have a normal life. That's the point of actually broadcasting yourself. That's the way that you actually climb the social hierarchies that are part of the human condition. The problem is that there's a lot of research that shows that we're incredibly bad at discerning that when we're looking at social media. We have a tendency to believe the things that people depict in the positive way and make a negative comparison of ourselves. This is a very normal thing to do. We're strivers is the bottom line. So you see somebody who's got six-pack abs, and you're like, yeah, every dude's got six-pack abs. Well, you realize how hard it is to get six-pack abs? I mean, it's like, you really know what it means to get to 8% body fat? That is, you're giving up a lot of life. It's really hard and it hurts, especially, trust me, Sal, when you're 56 like me, it's really hard.
Yeah.
And frankly, as you will often say, it's not worth it. It's not worth it to feel good. It's not worth it to be healthy. It's not worth it to sacrifice your relationships. And by the way, you shouldn't be looking in the mirror that much anyway.